What's up, y'all? I'm back with part 4 of my story time, my hoodoo story time, The Bottle. So, when we left off, Nadine had just woken up from another terrifying dream, and she told Grandma Bill, along with Granddaddy Fox and Cheryl, and her mother, of course, that she knew what she had to do and that she was going back to that house to take care of it, and she was going by herself. Immediately, Grandma Bell shut that shit down. She was like, no, you're not walking into this house by yourself. You don't know what could happen to you in there. Nadine was like, Grandma, you too old to go in here and get yourself hurt. Grandma Bell said, don't tell me how old I am. Don't tell me I'm too old to do something. I done been many places and seen many things and been through way more shit than you have, little girl. So they all decided to devise a plan. Granddaddy Fox said that he was going to go into the house with Nadine while everybody else stayed outside. Grandma Bell would be out there reading her psalms and just putting up protection. The first thing that Grandma Bell did was pull out some cloaking oil. So she said that it probably wouldn't like completely cloak her, but it would give her time to get through the house to try to get to that room where all the jars were. From what Grandma Bell took from the dream that Nadine described, that room with those jars, those are the souls of little children. And she feels that Michael's soul was in that big bottle. Then, out of nowhere, when Grandma Bell went to stand up, she had some type of vision or download that made her sit back down. Everybody gathered around to make sure that she was okay. Once she got through whatever was going on, she kind of figured out where all this was coming from. She had to think about it. So she remembers that way back in maybe like the 40s, there was a man that lived in that house that they used to live in, and they called him the Bottle Man. So Grandma Bell is thinking that the Bottle Man is the one that's been capturing the little children's souls into these jars and using that to feed the energy. Okay, so after that, everybody starts to devise a plan to see what the best way to get in, destroy the bottles, and destroy this entity for good. So Nadine believes that Wet Boy is just one of the children's souls that have been captured in the house, and Wet Boy was able to communicate with her and her little brother. So they feel like Bottle Man is the one that bottled up the children's spirits, including Wet Boy and Michael's. So the plan is to go in and destroy all the bottles. Granddaddy Fox is gonna follow behind Nadine as she goes into the house and destroys the bottles, and then they're gonna try to see if that's the best and final way to get rid of the shit. So then, y'all, Granddaddy Fox pulls out a map, an old map, and he starts looking at the different parts of the town and the rivers and the creeks. And he sees where the creek that the little boy passed away in a long time ago, if you follow the trail down, it's the same creek. It's just further down where little Michael drowned as well. As Grandma Bell begins to look at the map along with Granddaddy Fox, her mind is churning. Her mind is turning. Things are starting to come back to her. And that's when she says, oh my gosh. And everybody gets quiet. Everybody starts looking at her. And she says, I don't think the Bottle Man is the spirit. I think the Bottle Man was actually feeding the spirit, or feeding it, helping capture the little children into these bottles. But this entity is ancient. It's even older than the Ouija board. So at this point, everybody is like, what? Grandma Bill was like, yes, this is something ancient. And this is something that could be carried through the bloodline, because my great-great-granddaddy tells a folklore story about how he had to get rid of a water spirit, an evil water spirit. So that's when Grandma Bell goes and pulls out her grimoire. This book was so heavy and thick that Grandma Bell was hunched over as she walked back to the table with it. She blew the dust off of it, and it even had a lock on it. So she got the key, she turned the lock, and she opened this book. But before she opened it, she explained to Nadine that this is a book that was passed through her family and her bloodline for years. Now, Nadine's mom, she was fearful of it, so she never really got too deep into the traditions. She did spiritual baths, but she was like, that's where she drew the line. So anyway, she explains to Nadine about this book, and she tells Nadine that she is next in line for the book because the mother is too afraid to deal with it. But she told her that this book does come with consequences as well. There's many stories in this book, spells, all kind of stuff, y'all. Things that they did under the moon cycle. I could go on for days. But anyway, after she explains to Nadine that this book or grimoire is so important to her family and her bloodline, that's when she begins to flip through the pages of this book. She flips through the pages and she finally finds the page. It's a page, it has drawings, it has instructions, and everything, y'all. So, the name of this ancient evil swamp spirit or water spirit is called, well, I'm spelling it, Abazu, Abazu. Rule number 1, you never speak his name. Rule number 2, by speaking his name, it causes it to become weak and able to be taken away. Okay, so Grandma Bell then goes on to explain the story of her great-great-grandfather who encountered this evil spirit in the swamp. And he had to do some rituals. He had to go through some things to actually get the spirit inside of one of the bottles. Now, the thing about it, the bottle that Nadine dreamed about, she doesn't know if that was the ancient evil spirit or whether it was her brother Michael's spirit. And that's what they are trying to figure out at this point. So they went over everything that they knew about the spirit and the entity. Okay, they figured out that it can shift shape. It mimics little children and your loved ones. And it loves to enter your dreams so it can mess with your mind. Okay? And it also thrives off of water. That's why that's connected to the drownings and also in Nadine's dream when the water was all on the floor when she was walking through it. So they know that if they break the bottles, that will release the children's spirit or their soul. And once he does that, that's going to weaken him because he thrives off of the little children's energy. So the first thing they got to do is get in the house, break the bottles, okay? And then once they weaken it, and the last part would be calling it by name and getting it to leave. So that's what they're focused on right now. So they get all their herbs together. They get protection, candles, black salt. They get all the ingredients that they need to try to beat this thing. So the jars contain the children's trapped souls and also parts of the entity itself, okay? So by releasing the children's souls, that's definitely going to weaken it, but then it might take shape or form into something else, and that's what they're afraid of. So that's what they're trying to figure out at this point, if it's going to take shape into something else, or is there a bottle with the rest of that entity in it or not. So they're working through what they need to do before they take action. So they finally figured out that the entity exists in 3 parts, okay? 3 anchors: the name, the vessel, and the doorway, which is the water or the mirror, because we know that it needs a portal to actually move through. So they prepare. Everybody anoints themselves with oil. Everybody wraps their head, and they head to the house, y'all. They get in. They get to the house. Nadine and Granddaddy Fox go in. Meanwhile, Cheryl, Grandma Bell, and Nadine's mom, which is Martha, they are all outside reading psalms and burning sage. As soon as Granddaddy Fox and Nadine walk into the house, the door immediately slams behind them. When they try to open it again, they can't. Nadine said, "We can't turn back now." Granddaddy Fox said, "That's right." And they both head upstairs to find the room with the jars. Come back for part 5, y'all. It's about to start getting good.